Dr. David Klee has over 30 years' experience as both a teacher of the flute and as a professional musician. He has performed in all kinds of musical organizations, ranging from classical orchestras to heading his own jazz group, the Jazz Express. With these Pro Minute video series, Dr. Klee will share some of his secrets with you on how to become a better flutist. Hello, my name is Dr. David Klee, and welcome to another Pro Minute. Today we're going to talk about octaves. It's interesting. Every instrument, every wind instrument other than the flute has an octave key. Some have too. But the flute, we do not have an octave key. Our octave key is our mouth. And because of that, that's probably one of the biggest areas of concern I have when I'm working with students who have not had lessons previously. Normally when they play like a low D, then they go to a D within the staff or a D in the staff and they play a D above the staff. The only way they can get the upper note out is to blow harder. They do not know how to really use it. So if you remember how it works, you actually have three embouchures. You have low range, middle range, and high range. Low range is when it's perfectly flat. Perfectly flat. The middle range is kind of like you're kind of like asleep, not much of anything. And then the upper range, you're thinking like Winnie the Pooh. Your lower lip comes out a lot and you're much more relaxed. Okay? So then when it comes to playing the different octaves on a flute, if you don't make this change in your embouchure, of course, it's not going to, these octaves are not going to work. So this exercise that's coming up on your view screen right now is a great way to practice working with the muscles in your embouchure. If you look at number 1 there, like I have low D, and then when I go to the octave, I have to change my mouth. But what a lot of students do when they're younger, particularly, they just blow harder. They tend to do that. And obviously that's not the proper way to do it. So what I have here on this first exercise, you have to slur at number 1, which makes it very hard if you're not using your embouchure properly. And then number 2, I have the low range mezzo forte, but the upper range mezzo piano. Because what happens, this forces them not to be able to use their air to get the upper notes out. So that first measure would be like this. Because I use this instead of pushing harder. Okay, I'll just play a little bit of the exercise. In fact, if you do it right, you should be able to make the octave, the upper octave note, almost sound flat to the bottom note. It really works well. Alrighty, now, let's look at the chart again. What you want to do when you work on stuff like this is something, again, you want to do every day. You just want to spend a few minutes with this. And you can do any scales, all your major scales you can do this. As long as they're within the playing range of the flute, you can do them in octaves like that. But I would do them in half notes first. I would take my time, I would be very slow, just like I demonstrated. I would do them very, very slow. And you want to focus on filling out the low range, no air pressure going to the upper octave, and just use an embouchure change, slurring into it. I'll demonstrate again on the first measure of the first exercise. That's how you want to do it. Alrighty, so now that's a great way to get started. Now once you get better at it, it gets more flexible, then obviously you could do it in quarter notes. You could do the same thing. This is where example 2 takes hold. So it's really it really works the embouchure well. Okay, now if you go to example 3, we have it in eighth notes. And I know some of you thinking like, well, this is pushing the limit of my capabilities here. Yeah, I know, it's harder. But believe it or not, it's a great exercise for practicing the flexibility of the embouchure. And again, start slow and work your way up. It's a great way to work it. Okay, now, believe it or not, with younger people in particular, they have a harder time slurring down than slurring up. Because what usually happens slurring up, they're actually pushing to get the air out. But going down, they can't relax the air enough. I've actually had students who tried this. They just try to blow softer without using the embouchure to do the octaves. In fact, I just had a student recently, I'm having to work real hard with her on this. Apparently she never got it in band how to use her embouchure. Okay, so anyway, example 4 is a great way to practice. You have to think soft to get loud. That's a great way every day. Just warm up. Ascending octave scales. You can start with half notes and eventually go to, quarter, eighth notes, whatever. If you go to example 5, this is like the ultimate practice for flexibility with the embouchure. Again, you just take your simple major minor scales. So in example 5 now, you notice it goes low D, D in the staff, back down. And that way, there's no way you can cheat. You have to use your embouchure. It's a great way to work. It's just absolutely fabulous. You feel like you've been to the gym, had a workout, been in the pool swimming for an hour. It really works in all these fine muscles in the mouth. Okay, now example 6. Again, a lot of my students actually have a harder time slurring down than slurring up with octaves. So here, you can actually practice your scales like that. So take a look at example 6. It's a great way to practice. Now remember, what are we doing here? We're thinking the 3 octaves, the 3 embouchures we use as a flutist. The lowest range, like low D, you're flat and firm. When you get to like D in the staff, it's like you're taking a nap. There's not much of an embouchure, it's relaxed. And then when you go to the highest D, that's where you start getting into your 3rd octave, your highest embouchure, which is more like Winnie the Pooh. So you're getting like so low. And in fact, if you were to go to a mirror and look in a mirror, you should see it. You should see, and it should be 90% lower lip, 10% upper lip. Typically with my younger students, I see the opposite. And of course, again, you're changing the air angle coming out of your mouth, and it's not going to work. It's got to be, the focus has to be on the lower lip. You can see my lower lip moving, in fact. And I think right at this point, I'm going to show you a close-up. And when I show you the close-up, I think you'll see how it really works. So I'm going to go over the 3 embouchures. Okay? So first of all, in the close-up, you can see how I do from the lowest range to the middle range. Alrighty, now here, we're going to take a look from the middle range, around G, maybe G on the bottom of the staff, going up to G on the top of the staff. And then let's take a look at the middle range of the upper octave. You'll hear me try that. So now I think by seeing that, I think you can see how it really starts to work. Now I'm going to play example 6 here, the whole thing, up close so you can watch my embouchure as I do it. Here we go. So I think these octave studies will help you tremendously. You just want to do them every day, spend about 5 or 10 minutes on them, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how it acts to really loosen up the embouchure and give you this flexibility, which will make you a much better flutist. This is Dr. David Klee. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.